All right, boys and girls, today's quick vid is about solving inequalities. So we're just going to quickly review some of the things that you guys already know about solving inequalities so that you're able to solve your puzzle page. So first thing we want to do, we want to treat the inequality like an equation. So we would follow the same steps that we follow when we actually do an equation. So that's what step 2 is, solve like an equation. You're going to undo any operations that are there with the opposite. So if you have addition, you undo it with subtraction. If you have multiplication, you undo it with division. Okay, again, that's something we've learned, something we're going to use in order to solve inequalities. The big thing to remember with inequalities is this last item. It's this last guy down here. This is the most important thing. It says if you multiply or divide across the inequality, so we're going across the inequality, so we're changing sides of the inequality, with a negative. So if it's a negative item, so if I'm dividing by -2, if I'm multiplying by -5, the sign switches directions. So what was once greater than is now less than. What was once less than or equal to, if you divide by -3, is now greater than or equal to. You just flip the sign. This is the big thing you have to remember. If you multiply or divide across the inequality with a negative, the sign switches directions. It's going to face the other way. Okay, so now I'm just going to do 4 problems from page 191. I chose some of the more difficult ones to go over. And if you have problems or questions with any of them, as always, you can contact us through office hours or send us an email. Okay, so let's first take a look at number 2. So number 2 on page 191. So again, I've got an inequality, no big deal. I'm going to treat it like an equation. And the first thing I want to do is I want to get rid of the things that are away from the x. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of that plus 7. So remember, we undo with the opposite. So I subtract 7 from both sides. So that goes away. That now becomes negative 2x is less than or equal to 37 minus 7 is 30. Okay. So now I've got a negative 2x. Now, to get rid of the negative 2x, that's negative 2 times x, I have to undo that multiplication with division. So I'm now going to divide both sides by negative 2. So here is where I'm dividing something or taking a negative across the inequality. I'm dividing by a negative 2. So that means this symbol is going to flip sides. It's now going to face the other direction. So it's now going to be greater than or equal to, because I went across with a negative number. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the problem. Cross this off. You're now left with x is greater than or equal to negative 15. Which, if you look on your puzzle page, that is LE. Okay, take a look at number 6 on your puzzle page. Okay, treat it again like it's an equation. So I like to draw my line, keep my left side from my right side. So there's a couple different ways you can do this inequality. I'm just going to go ahead and do it the way I like to do it, the way I'm comfortable with. First thing I want to do is get rid of the minus 9. So the way I get rid of that minus 9 is add 9 to both sides. Okay, so that's just going to leave me with x to the 5th is greater than 12. Not x to the 5th, x over 5. So that is x divided by 5. So I've got to undo that division. Now, what undoes division? Multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides here by 5. So multiply this by 5 and this by 5. Now, I did not multiply both sides by negative or divide by negative, so the symbol stays where it's at. It is fine facing the direction it is already facing. So these 5s disappear. That's going to leave me x is greater than 60. Notice I did not change the symbol. It stays the same. So when you look over on your puzzle page, I believe that is the TH. Okay. 2 more problems. Take a look at number 8. Number 8. So again, let me draw my line down my middle. Okay, so here I have 7 minus x over 10 is greater than or equal to 12. Again, I like to start away from my variable. I like to get everything away from the variable. So the first thing I have to get rid of is a 7. Now, remember, we always look in front of the number or the letter to see what symbol it is. This subtraction sign belongs to the x over 10. It does not belong to a 7. This is a positive 7. So what gets rid of a positive 7? Well, a negative 7. So subtract 7 from both sides. And again, that does not affect the inequality because it's not multiplication or division. So 7 minus 7 disappears. That's going to leave me negative x over 10 is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, now I need to get rid of what's attached to the x. Well, that is x divided by 10. Well, what undoes division? Multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 10, a negative 10. So multiply this side by negative 10. Now again, I multiplied both sides by a negative 10, so therefore my symbol is going to flip. It's going to flip directions. So therefore, these 10s cancel. So that's going to leave me x is less than, because my sign flips, less than or equal to negative 50. Okay, when you look on your page, that is AD. Okay, so again, this symbol flips because I multiply or divide it by a negative number. Adding or subtracting does not affect the symbol. Only multiplying, dividing affects the symbol. Okay, last one, let's take a look at 14. So here I have 3x over 10 plus 21 is less than 0. So again, I like to get rid of things that are away from the variable, so I'm going to get rid of the 21 first. Look in front of it, that is a plus 21. So I'm going to subtract 21, subtract 21. Again, addition and subtraction do not affect anything. So that disappears. So that's going to leave me with 3x over 10 is less than negative 21. And then I've got 3x divided by 10. There's a couple different ways you can do this. I'm just going to multiply the 10 to the other side. So multiply this by 10, this side by 10. I'm getting rid of that division first. I'm getting rid of the denominator. It's another way of looking at it. So these 10s go away. That leaves me 3x is less than negative 210. Again, the symbol does not change because I did not multiply or divide by a negative. And then finally, divide both sides by 3. Because this is multiplication, I can undo this multiplication, so I'm going to divide this by 3 and this by 3. So the 3's cancel. X is less than negative 210 divided by 3 is negative 70. So look on your paper. Is there an x is less than negative 70? Yes, that is HO. Okay, so again, if you have any questions when doing these problems, feel free to email us or log on to office hours. Okay, all right, good luck, and upload this when you are done to get credit.